Jazakallah, Brother Muhammad Sheikh. Now I will open the floor for question and answer session. The procedure is that whoever wants to ask questions should raise their hand on their seats. One of our coordinator will come to them. They ask his or her question by just stand up there on their own seat on the mic, and Brother Muhammad Sheikh will clarify the question. Second thing is, your question should be relevant to the topic, which is what Al-Quran says about hijab veil. Must restrict yourself to today's topic.
Assalamu
alaikum.
My name is Mrs. Sharafat. The first question is, as you have mentioned that the gold is precious for both men and women. So, is it possible that men can also wear gold or silver?
Okay.
Please refer any ayah if there is any ayat in the Quran.
Okay. Now, the Quran says, I read an ayah, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ وَالْقَنَاطِيرِ مِنَ الذَّهَبِ وَالْفِضَّةِ. Allah is mentioning Surah Al-Imran 3:14 that the gold and silver and all this is basically is an adornment for men and women both. It's not only for women, even men also like gold. Now generally we have seen women wearing gold. We have not seen men wearing gold, except for few people. They can wear, if they like to wear, there's not a problem. But how can we justify from the Quran that we can wear this? I will refer you to certain few ayahs. First of all, you can note down the reference. I have already discussed that Allah has made gold and silver adornment. Now in Surah Araf 7:32, if you read, قُلْ مَنْ حَرَّمَ زِينَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي أَخْرَجَ لِعِبَادِهِ وَالطَّيِّبَاتِ مِنَ الرِّزْقِ قُلْ هِيَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا خَالِصَةً يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ كَذَلِكَ نُفَصِّلُ الْآيَاتِ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْلَمُونَ. Say, who has forbidden the adornment, the zinat, the adornment of Allah, which He has produced for His servants? Allah is asking, say, قُلْ مَنْ حَرَّمَ زِينَةَ اللَّهِ, that who has forbidden the adornment of Allah, which He has produced for His servants? The gold and silver is Allah has produced as an adornment for men and women both. And things which is good for sustenance. Say they are for those in this life, in the life of this world who believe purely for them on the day of judgment. Then do we explain the ayahs in detail for those who to know? So Allah is asking a counter question to those who says the gold is forbidden. The gold who's saying, people saying that gold is forbidden for men. Allah is making the gold for men and both. The first ayah that I read, for both men and women. Similarly, I would like to refer to another verse in Surah Al-Nahl 16 and ayah 14. وَهُوَ الَّذِي سَخَّرَ الْبَحْرَ لِتَأْكُلُوا مِنْهُ لَحْمًا طَرِيًّا وَتَسْتَخْرِجُوا مِنْهُ حِلْيَةً تَلْبَسُونَهَا وَتَرَى الْفُلْكَ مَوَاخِرَ فِيهِ وَلِتَبْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. It is He who has made the sea subject that you may eat flesh from it, and that is flesh and tender, and then you may take out from its ornaments to wear it, and you see the ships therein through the waves, that you may seek of the bounty of Allah, that you may be grateful. Now in this, the portion that it says وَتَسْتَخْرِجُوا مِنْهُ حِلْيَةً تَلْبَسُونَهَا. Talbasunaha means that first of all Allah has taken out the ornaments from the sea. From ornaments from the sea, you know, from the sea it has been taken out. Talbasuna, so that you wear them. So the ornaments from the sea also that are taken out, people like to wear them. So Allah said talbasuna, labasa means libas, the word I told you is to wear. Talbasunaha, you wear them. So wearing even from the sea, there are many ornaments that are taken out from the sea, you can wear them. So your question was gold and others, the men and women both can wear them. Yes, please.
is what is the meaning of saying recognition? What is matlab, the main
Ma'roof.
which is called jana pehchana in Urdu?
Yes.
So what we will describe it कि मारूफ कहा हुआ कहो मतलब.
No, I told you which verse you are referring to, please.
This is the 32 of 33.
This was you Fayyad. Acha. Fala takhda'ana bil qawli fayyad ma'al ladhi fi qalbi mardun wa qulna qawlan ma'rufa. Yani which is known means when you speak to men and if you're speaking to, because this is referring to women in relation to said do not subjugate with the saying, so the one who has sickness in his heart will have desire, and you should speak a saying of recognition. Now here I have write down in bracket without feeling of love and passion, meaning you speak straightforward ma'roof, which is known. But if you speak with feeling and passion, that will create this problem. So your recognition that people recognize this is a straight talk, or this is a malign talk, or this is some intimate talk, or some talk with feelings.
Assalamu alaikum. Can women do a job?
Yes, I just now read an ayah that two women were working outside in Surah Qasas 28. Two sisters were working outside. Musa salam went there and talked to them behind a veil. That means they were doing the same work as the working that men were working. But they gave a condition that our father is old. So that means a woman can work outside conditionally if they have no source of money or any problem she is, and if she can work in an environment where she can have that hijab, she can go work outside. But if she is being taken care of by the husband or by the brother or by father or by husband or the son, so she don't need to work. She should have a link in the house. But if suppose unfortunately she comes under certain circumstances where she is bound to do some work, she can do and look for a job which is more of that kind, that she can have that hijab. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. My name
Wa
is
alaikum.
Sharafat. Is shortening of hair and haircut of a woman is allowed?
Shortening of hair.
Yeah, and haircut.
Haircut.
Yeah.
You see, just now I read an ayah in the Bible. Bible says that a woman should have long hair, and it's an adornment. So now there is an ayat in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah 2:196 ayat. There is an ayat in the Quran which says, Baqarah 2:196. وَأَتِمُّوا الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ فَإِنْ أُحْصِرْتُمْ فَمَا اسْتَيْسَرَ مِنَ الْهَدْيِ وَلَا تَحْلِقُوا رُؤُوسَكُمْ حَتَّى يَبْلُغَ الْهَدْيُ مَحِلَّهُ. And complete Hajj and Umrah for Allah. But if you are prevented, then send and sacrifice as you may find, a hadiyah, a gift. And do not shave your head until the offering reaches the place of sacrifice, until the hadiyah reaches the place of sacrifice. You see, the Quranic ayat this ayat is referring to of shaving of the head of those people who are performing Hajj and Umrah in the presence of Saudi Arabia, Makkah and Medina, right? Makkah, sorry. In Hajj also and Umrah also. So ayah says that you do not shave your head. You do not shave your head until the hadiyah reaches its place of sacrifice. Now the question is, it is referring to both sexes. It is not referring only to men. If I have been to Hajj, and if you go to Hajj, you will note that men and women are performing tawaf together. Safa and Marwa is being performed together. And all the places from Mina, Makkah to Mina, or Mina to Muzdalfa, or Muzdalfa to Arafat, sorry, Mina to Arafat, Arafat to Muzdalfa, Muzdalfa to Mina, all the places, or stoning, everything that is being practiced while performing Hajj and Umrah, men and women both does simultaneously, together. And when the time of shaving of head comes, so some scholars, whatever, they are saying that it's not permitted for women. When the ayat is referring to both, it's not referring to women only, men only. So it's very simple and straightforward that all men and women should shave their heads if they are performing Hajj. So if you or me are going against this ayah by not shaving it, so we are going against the Quranic ayah. Whoever the alim or the scholar says, yes, women cannot, we are not denying that the woman hair is an adornment for her, because Quran says that she's an adornment. But for Hajj, and they have to shave their heads as well. So there are very few women, I've seen with my own eyes, because I've done this Hajj, there are women who shave their heads. And if a man and a woman performs Hajj regularly per year, so you can imagine women cannot have long hairs. Because the Hajj, Allah says that whoever have the means to perform Hajj, he must perform Hajj. It is not that you perform only once. If you have the means to perform Hajj, I know maybe your husband, who had lived 17, 19 years. 19 years in Saudi Arabia, one of my, 22, no? 20, every year he performed Hajj. So he was living in that area and he did not miss any Hajj in his lifetime till the day he lived in Saudi. So what I'm saying, it is not once that you have to perform Hajj. Every year you have to perform, and every year if you perform Hajj, you shaved off your head. And every year you do it, so how can you have big long hairs or big hairs? Women cannot have big hairs or long hairs. So if you note in the Saudi Arabia, the culture has become such that men and women are wearing a headgear in Saudi Arabia. You cannot find men, you can't see the men's hair. Forget about seeing the women's hair. You can't see a men's hair in Saudi, or you'll see a shaved off head. After the Umrah, you can see the men's hair shaved off. After the Umrah or Hajj, you can see you are not wearing anything. But women are wearing a headgear. And let me tell you one more thing. Whenever the women and men visit Saudi Makkah for Hajj and Umrah, there is a dress code known as ihram. Ihram, it is a forbidden sort of, you can say, it comes from ihram, that you restrict certain duties, you restrict certain acts on you when you are wearing an ihram, with specific clothing. For men, that is two cloths. One is lower and the other is unstitched cloth. That is the ihram. And until you have performed the Umrah or the Hajj, you have to wear it, and there are certain duties upon you. So men, you know this, you know what women's ihram is? The headgear. Hijab, it's not a hijab, it is a headgear. She wears it, and after she finishes the Umrah or Hajj, she can remove it. But because of the culture in Saudi, you can, but she comes back, she removes it. So I've seen all the women who are coming from all parts of the world there, they are wearing a headgear, calling it that this is their ihram when performing Umrah or Hajj. Men are having these two unstitched cloths. So that is the ihram for men, and that is the ihram for women. So women ihram or a dress code is such that they have to wear this from a big headgear like this, right?
A believing woman can cover her face during a prayer or not?
The head, I understand.
I'm sorry.
You see, the culture, your question is very straightforward, that a believing woman can cover her head during salah, the prayer. You see, culturally, I told you in Saudi Arabia, even the imam in Saudi Arabia covers his head. But in Saudi Arabia, males are also covering the heads, whether they are imam or whether they are ordinary Arabs. Because of the culture, because the heat of the sun, this is natural, because they are living in a country where there is so much heat, they have to cover their head. I was there and I had to cover up my head also. Not because of the prayer, but because of so much of heat coming directly on my head. Similarly, in a cultural where you live, because the Quran is the essence, the Masjid Haram is the Arab or Masjid Haram is the place where we take guidance. So in that culture, in area, men and women both are covering the heads. Both. not only women, men also. So they are praying it with the head cover, and women are praying with the head cover. So it has become a cultural thing transmitted all over the world that women are praying with covering their heads. It is not an ayah that tells you that you women and men and women, when you stand up for prayer, you should cover your heads. So even in some of the mosques in Pakistan, here, you go to in a mosque for prayer, they put a cap on your head. You know this. So, so similarly, so what I'm saying is, it's not in the Quranic ayat anywhere. But if you feel comfortable culturally, you can wear it. It's not going against some Quranic law if you're wearing a cap. But if I'm not wearing a cap, if somebody comes and you are not wearing a cap, it's wrong, I'm sorry, I don't agree to this. Similarly, if suppose some woman does not wear a cap or a headgear and establish the salah, it is not wrong. But I would advise, since it's become a culture thing or a custom, you can offer salah with a headgear.
You said that a woman can show her affection to only one of the relation, as in Surah Nur 24, ayat number 31. Suppose I am a mother, sister and a wife. Is it really possible for me to choose only one of them to show my affection? Elaborate clearly.
Actually, this I explained in my lecture also. It is basically mentioned in the Quran that you have to either you can show the adornment to the son or the father or the brother. It is mentioned in the ayah. So it all depends upon your selecting that situation. But the Quran doesn't say that it says or continues. So now you can a woman can serve the children or have affiliation or affection to the children. They can have affection for the father. They can have affection with brother and sister, all of them. But if you note, they have specific one feeling with one person. You know this. Every woman knows that she is attached or she wants to adorn one person the most. That is her last word, last person. Last means the most prominent, the most she's want to adorn. But in a general manner, she can adorn the father. She's an adornment. She can adorn. But to the passion that the ayat is referring to, one of the person is related to the one whom she is living with, or she's got more feelings with that person. It can be the father, it can be the husband, it can be the brother, it can be the son, it can be any one person, one at a time. And that is her nature. She is like that. She can't have equal feelings with all these personalities. That is why Allah says you can show one of the persons, you can show this adornment. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Attach or she wants to adorn one person the most. That is her last word, last person. Last means the most prominent, the most she's want to adorn. But in a general manner, she can adorn the father. She's an adornment. She can adorn. But to the passion that the ayat is referring to, one of the person is related to the one whom she is living with, or she's got more feelings with that person. It can be the father, it can be the husband, it can be the brother, it can be the son, it can be any one person, one at a time. And that is her nature. She is like that. She can't have equal feelings with all these personalities. That is why Allah says you can show one of the persons, you can show this adornment. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.